But what I wanted to talk about was this attack on Tucker Carlson and his home and his wife and his family. Antifa, ladies and gentlemen, is not some peaceful protest group. It's not some civil rights organization. This is a violent organization. These are Marxists, and they are a militia. And they are violent. And even though CNN over the past few years has downplayed it, even though MSNBC over the past few years has downplayed it, the fact is, it is a very violent organization. We've heard more today from the lib media and the Democrats about the president and him tangling with Jim Acosta than we have heard about what took place at Tucker Carlson's house to his wife and his private property. Tell me, what did Chuck Schumer say about it today? Nothing. What did Dick Durbin say about it today? Nothing. What did Nancy Pelosi say about it today? Not a word. Now let's be honest. Antifa is born of the radical left of the Democrat Party. That's right, I said it, because it's true. And have been given aid and comfort over the years by Don Lemon and others at CNN and MSNBC. Haven't they? It's enormously dangerous out there. Enormously dangerous. And I can tell you my own experience, it's enormously dangerous out there. This group, Antifa, is a domestic terrorist organization as far as I'm concerned. It should be on the FBI list. Their leaders should be sought and prosecuted. This isn't just some get-together where they're exercising their First Amendment right. They're making threats, and they tried to break into his house. They pounded against his front door, an oak door. I mean, you got to hit that damn thing pretty darn hard. That's not freedom of speech. That's not freedom of association. Now, I noticed Stephen Colbert was out there saying this is very, very bad, creating these monsters and so forth. And yet he has helped create these monsters. Day in and day out. It's not comedy that he spews, it's hate that he spews. This is the consequence of these kinds of attitudes, of the Maxine Waters out there. And I'm concerned it's only going to get worse now. Look at the way the Democrats are talking in the House of Representatives. They talk like old Soviet Stalinists. Well, we're going to get this guy's tax returns. You know what? Let's go back to this Joe Scarborough. That audio. I forget the number, Mr. Producer. You have it there. I want you to listen to this guy. Now tell me, if you're Antifa, if you're a violent mob, if you're an evil person, a diabolical person, or if you're mentally ill, and you listen to what Joe Scarborough just said, tell me what kind of impact it would have. Go ahead.
Let's take this, though, to the next step, which is your Mueller. You're putting together your obstruction of justice charge, and he has this puzzle, this hole in the puzzle. He goes,
what could fit in that puzzle?
What am I going to put there? Oh, he fires the United States Attorney General and appoints a hack, and may not have even done that legally, to obstruct justice and stop this investigation. Boom. Oh, the puzzle's complete. And guess what? If Donald Trump gets rid of Mueller, now the Democrats can just hire him. He can now work for the House of Representatives. And if they want to send all the information, which they're going to, they're going to send to the states. He thinks he's going to stop his children if they've done something wrong from going to jail. They'll just be in state jail instead of the federal penitentiary.
And here's the other difference to bring the conversation full circle as of...
Oh, by the way, no pardoning if any of these people are sent to state jails.
He's rooting. First of all, he lies about the legality of the appointment of the acting attorney general. He lies about obstruction involving removing the attorney general. Nothing's been done as a consequence of that. Then he brings his kids into it, the president's kids into it, and charge, and they do state time, and his kids can't receive a pardon. This is a very sick man, Joe Scarborough. Very sick man. And yet MSNBC, a.k.a. NBC, a.k.a. Comcast, they have him on the air purposely. Just like Time Warner has Jim Acosta on the air purposely. These large corporations can reach into the presidency, can reach into a press conference and disrupt them. Or they can urge the total, complete annihilation of the Trump family with prison sentences for his kids and so forth and so on. Under the banner of free speech, of course. And the clowns at the White House Correspondents Association who put out that wonderful dinner every year, they think this is great. They think this is free speech. Franklin Roosevelt used to go after the publishers. He used to go after the owners of the radio companies and the nascent TV companies. He would go after them. I mean, legally, go after them. Illegally, actually, but you understand, using the law to try and pressure them. None of that's been done here. You look at the contempt. Look how they treat this guy. Now, you're some 21-year-old, spoiled, rotten white kid who's gone to, let's say, Haverford outside of Philadelphia. And you've been brainwashed by the Marxist tenured professors. And now you can fulfill yourself by joining a militia, by learning how to fight, how to hurt people, for a righteous cause, of course. Paradise. Utopia. And the only thing that stands in the way is Trump. The only thing that stands in the way is conservative talk radio. The only thing that stands in the way is Fox and Fox hosts and certain Republicans. Ted Cruz. And so, what do? You go to their houses. You track them down at restaurants. You beat on their doors. You spray paint their driveways. You chant. You scare their family. You scare their wives. Don Lemon sits there, says almost nothing. And if he says something, it's tepid. Because the enemy, you see, is the president and anybody who dares to speak out and support any of his policies. You listen to CNN and MSNBC over a course of a few weeks, and you hear the president is Hitler. That he's a white supremacist. You get these from official news outlets. They have actual passes to go into the White House to press conferences. Jim Acosta starts off the questioning, implying, more than implying, that the president is a racist because of his immigration positions. Followed up by others. A government-paid-for reporter at PBS, where she suggests the president is not only a white supremacist, but he's turned the Republican Party into a white supremacy party. And he calls her out that it's an outrageous question. And they circle the wagons, the media, as they must, because what you see is groupthink. Because the president, you see, is attacking the media, not the other way around. This is why there's an Antifa. If you call somebody Hitler, Hitler needs to be taken out. If you call somebody a white supremacist, you call somebody a racist, and they're president, well, then he needs to be taken out, doesn't he? For a sick mind, 1 and 1 in that case would equal 2. And not only that, Fox, Brian Stelter, day in and day in attacking Fox. Constant. Attacking Fox. These comedians at night, who are supposed to be comedians, are not. They're propagandists. And they have a big influence on the culture, particularly young people, and they watch them over and over again. The vile jokes all go one way. So now we have an enemy. The enemy. The media do not like to be called the enemy, but they have enemies. And now the media, working with the Democrats in Congress, subpoenas, impeachment, urging Mueller to indict. There was another Acosta question. Well, Mr. President, the Russia matter. Are you concerned somebody might be indicted? And that, we're told, is news. That's a news question. And the White House Correspondents Association defends this guy, Acosta. Look at that, Mr. Producer. I see Marco Rubio on Fox. Do you see him on Fox? Didn't you call them like 4 hours ago and ask if Marco Rubio can come on this program to talk about what was going on in Florida? I thought tonight he was busy. But we did better. We got the chairman of the Republican Party of Florida. I'll be right back.